Welcome to the Chris, Wanda, and Liam Show. Chris Kim coming to you from Saudi Arabia, and Wanda joining me shortly. I apologize. I went out for a workout and watched the game and just kind of relaxing, drinking water. We're here after the Spain-Chile match. Congratulations to the Netherlands and Chile advancing, first teams to advance, and we say goodbye to Australia and Spain. I've been listening to the talking heads here on BEIN Sport. They're also the group who were on Al Jazeera for the last World Cup and the last Euro. Andy Gray's one of them. Angus somebody is another. And I just was listening to the shock everybody was talking about Spain going home. And for those, my one fan who's been watching my YouTube shots knows this is not a shock to me. I predicted it. I didn't think they would go home at this point. I thought they might beat Chile. I was not sure how good Chile was. I'm still not sure, but Chile played a very smart game against Spain, but Spain also its own undoing with poor defense and again the goalkeeper and their style. It's just they're not the team. Again, we'll go back. I could repeat the whole thing. First goal, Xabi Alonso gives up the ball. Chile runs an excellent series, getting them all down quick, hit 3 beautiful passes, and a nice move to beat Casillas. I can't blame Casillas for that. The second goal was specifically his, and the interesting thing is I watched talking heads about one guy was saying, well, why didn't he catch it? And as I had talked about earlier, they don't teach goalies to catch the ball anymore. So when you shoot, you're going to get a rebound. I personally was taught to catch it. I personally think you should teach a goalie to catch it. There's a time where you should look to catch it. Okay, you have to, that's part of being a goalie. You make the judgment call on whether you have to punch or catch. But when it's coming pretty much into your chest, you catch it. Use your hands. If you don't have the hands for it, you shouldn't be a goalie, and the coaches should not have you be a goalie. But that cost Spain. People are saying, well, you should punch it to the side. I'm telling you, it's easier to try and catch it than a ball coming at you to try and do this. Straight on, fine, if you really want to give up a rebound. But the punch to the side, you can miss it just as well as if you put your hands up and catch it or bring it into your body. Your body blocks the ball, okay? And you can use your hands to smother it. Use your stomach. You don't want to have your hands too close, because if you do, it's going to bounce off. But use your hands to bring it in and square your shoulders. Kids, you want to be a goalie? You learn that, you'll play international ball. Okay? Because you won't give up as many rebounds and you won't give up as many goals. Okay, having said that, sorry, trying to get comfortable here. It was not an impressive game by Spain all around. Diego Costa didn't turn out to be the weapon he should have been, whether it was he didn't fit into the lineup. The boost I said before, as I watched, he fit well. Usually the Spain team in the last 6 years was pretty much Real Madrid, Barcelona split up. Now you have Athletic Madrid, and it didn't seem, when they finally brought in Coque from the Athletic Madrid team, who tried to feed Costa, that you saw. They were teammates, they knew how to work. I don't think Busquets and Pedro and Silva knew how to deal with Costa. He really never got the ball, and when he did get the ball, you could see he didn't know how to handle it either, whether he was tired or he was just used to getting in a different spot. They did not. When he got the ball several times, he didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know how to put the pedal to the metal. He didn't know how to do a lead pass to a wing overlapping. And there were twice he had that opportunity, and he didn't do well with it. And in the 80th minute, I thought it showed very much when Spain had a 4-on-3 break, and they had people open on the pass. And I don't know if it was Silva or Pedro, they just didn't work right. I mean, and that would have been an opportunity. Now, and they had several opportunities. Busquets missing an open net. Ramos, good, free kick, makes the goalie makes a save. I believe Costa, it was a fancy bicycle kick, but he threw it back in the middle. Busquets has to make that play. The one pass from Iniesta to Costa in the middle. Something just wasn't right. I've seen Costa bury things a lot more difficulty than that, and he hesitated, and somebody blocked the shot. Spain just couldn't get out of its own way. So, moral of the story: 3 things. As I said, everybody's taught whether you punch the ball or not. That second goal, if Casillas can't catch it, you have a number of guys who can. Now, number 2, Spain, as a fan, I am a big fan of excellence. I had hoped, even though you heard me say they were done, I had hoped they would have proven me wrong and made a run at a second World Cup, a back-to-back. That hasn't been done, I believe, since Brazil in 58-62. Hasn't been done since. So I was hoping for it. My son's a big Spain fan. I just didn't see it. So I have to separate myself as a fan than as an analyst in what I saw. But number 3, the talking heads were talking about how Spain, that there are 4 guys who are, 32 will be older, but 80% of the team will be back. I'm telling you right now, with what they have, Spain for the near future is done as a power. Period. They're in the rebuilding, because it wasn't just Xabi Alonso, Xavi Hernandez that they're looking to go on, Iniesta being older and Busquets being older. It is David Villa. It is Carlos Puya. It is they don't have the power at the midfield. It's Seth, Fabregas, who will be older. It is that they don't have that defensive toughness. That they don't have that toughness with David Villa, who goes in there, and although they put him out on the wing, could crash in on the wing, or he would set a pick, or he would do some of the dirty, ugly work to go in and get a goal or crash into the goalie. If goalies go up, and as a former goalie, I knew when somebody would go at me aggressively, and it was part of the mental game of you had to focus on the ball going up with your hands, and you had to ignore somebody charging in you. But if somebody blasted into you, that was part of the game, and it made you think as a goalie. So, Ramos did that. Ramos went in very aggressively. Costa didn't. That's a difference. Sergio Ramos, one of the tough guys of that team who went in, but even he has his mental breakdowns. He does something I can't stand, and if he misses it, he'll sit there and pray to God. The game's going on. Complaining about a call. The game is going on. We were taught, you don't worry about the calls. You get them, you don't get them. You play through the whistle. You get knocked over, you don't like it, you get up, you keep playing. That's not taught anymore. We saw that with the Switzerland game. And that was the difference between a 1-1 draw and a 2-1 victory. Okay? But Ramos, I've seen him do that twice. Once he got lucky was a qualifier against the French. 0-0, he's in the corner, he hits the crossbar, he then stands there with his hands folded. The ball came back and he buried it on a rebound. But he's not paying attention to the game. All these little things I see these players do was not taught to me when I was growing up, and I don't remember players 20 years ago doing this. Okay, I don't remember all the handshaking and the pats on the head either, unless you're trying to avoid a yellow card. You're out there to win, and I didn't see, other than maybe Ramos, the toughness, the aggressiveness, the killer instinct in this Spanish team. So I'm telling you, I think for pretty much for the next 4 to 6 years, they're not going to be a force in Europe anymore. This was their last hurrah. 80% of the team or not. The spirit of that team is gone. So that was my take. You got a little goalie lessons, and you got a little bit of my own pitch. As I said, I'm not shocked by this. I called it a long time ago. And to hear analysts being shocked, I kind of wonder what game they are watching. Okay? Now, 4 years ago, where I differ than some people, they did play a beautiful game of football. 4 years ago, it was great. Even 2 years ago in the Euro. What they did to Italy in the Euro final was beautiful. Just the way they dominated play. They got off very aggressively in defense. David Silva was always good at putting pressure on the ball. Pirlo had to take the ball almost back in his own goal mouth to try and get going for Italy. In Spain, dominated the game. They did get a little break when Italy used all three of their subs early, and then had Moda go down with a pulled hamstring and had to play one down for most of the second half. But Spain was up, and Spain had dominated flow. But it is an end of an era. Unless they get some new people, or you see the development of Martinez, or Mata comes through and becomes a prolific scorer, or they figure out the midfield, I just don't see them being much of a power, especially for the next Euro. Okay? That's my prediction. Chile, again, they played very smart. That coach had them play a brilliant tactical game. They got the goal. They didn't just crash back. Spain came on the second half down 2-0. Spain did try first 20 minutes to create opportunities, and Chile played very smart. And after they weathered the 20 minutes, they started controlling the game a little more. So, are they good enough to go all the way? I don't think so, but they're playing well. Consistency, we'll have to see. They did not play well in the second half against Australia, although I think that might have been partly Australia. So, Chile will be playing the Netherlands they're both going through. It's who will win the group, and then who everybody's saying will have to play Brazil as the second place team. Again, I'm not so sure Brazil's going to go through. I think they will. But number two as the number one yet. That the jury is still out on them. And we have Croatia, Cameroon coming up to, I believe it's Cameroon, coming up to see who's going to go home with that game. But the other game, Spain and Australia, I actually more disappointed about Australia. I like the way they played the game. They play you to the bone, which, reviewing the Netherlands-Australia game, excellent game. A lot of fun. Again, Robben, Van Persie, a goal each, and the substitute came in who hit the third. That should have been stopped. The goalie got his hands on it. You get your hands on it, you got to knock it away. The ball was moving away from him. It doesn't matter. Again, teaching of goalies on, we used to call them the Russian goalie drills, of going post to post and being very aware of where the post was and being very aware of a bouncing ball. That's when you punch and push and slap hard away. Okay? That's the decision you make. But you do it. And I don't see that in a lot of goalies. I see that in the American goalies. And that's why the United States, my fellow countrymen, why I think we put out some of the best goalies in the last 20, 25 years. Tony Miolo, Kelsey Keller, Friedel, obviously Tim Howard and Guzan. There's another one who name escapes me, played in the Premier League for a while. The goalie who's the second goalie on the American team, his name escapes me. He did a solid performance in the Gold Cup during some of the when the U.S. won the Gold Cup last year prior to World Cup. So again, the teaching the European goalies today, from a United States standpoint, I love it. From the beauty of the game standpoint, I think there are a lot more goals given up by goalies. One, not working them hard enough, not teaching them how to use your hands, not teaching you to catch the ball and making the judgment on when necessary, when to do that. Instead, everybody just punches it. Even Bravo, who had a good game for Chile, he does the same thing. It could have cost him too. But, okay, enough of that lesson. But Australia, Netherlands, Australia, Cahill, a super goal. Got the handball, actually led 2-1, but the Netherlands are tough. And Van Persie, he's a match. He's not super fast. He's not slow. But I always like him. He just hangs around the net. He moves into the gaps. He sidesteps a step or two. And when he gets the ball, he buries it. Robin, never met a shite he didn't like, but again, buried the one. He's playing in very good form. Obviously, I think the Netherlands are going to be tough in this, in the knockout round. They could go deep. So, next game, we've got Croatia, Cameroon. I'm going to go with Croatia, but again, Cameroon I've seen play in the Africa Cup against teams like Ghana and against a lot of very talented teams. They can play. It's just something they get to the World Cup. They just don't perform. They play tight. They don't play loose. I'm waiting for them to show up for a World Cup game. Right now, I'm going to bank the odds. I'm going to say Croatia's going to win. That'll put them right behind Brazil and Mexico, and will make for an interesting third game in Group A. So that's my story for tonight. It is coming on 1 in the morning, so I bid you adieu. Congratulations again once more to the first two teams through, Chile and the Netherlands. Obviously, they have a chance to win it. Disappointment, although not, as I said, anticipated with Spain, and disappointed with Australia. I just like the way they play the game of football. So, happy World Cup, and we'll broadcast later.